Hello, welcome back to the Parks Peak. Our vlog series on the Disney Destiny has just ended, and we are here to recap our whole experience. We want to give you guys the full rundown of what we loved, what we didn't love, and if we'd sail again soon on the Disney Destiny. So, let's get into it. I'm going to start with food, because food, I mean, it's the most important experience on a cruise or in day-to-day life if you're a real foodie like this guy. So, we're going to start off with every category: main dining, pool deck, food on the islands, what we thought, what we loved, what we didn't love. Starting off with main dining. Our first main dining rotation was at
Pride Lands. I blanked out for a minute.
Pride Lands. What did you think of Pride Lands?
The first night, I thought it was okay.
We were the table farthest, probably the farthest table back that you could get, so we didn't get a great view of the show. I mean, honestly, I don't think we are really too invested in the show. I think it would have been nice to have a table closer to the stage so that we could have gotten like a full experience. But it is what it is, so we didn't really get a good view of the show. I did see, though, I think I saw this on the internet yesterday, on the second day is when the singer's voice, like, he had to go on vocal rest. So I think we might have been the only rotation or main dining experience that got the vocalist. I don't even know if the other...
Oh, he didn't... The other...
Second day, his voice went out. He had to go on vocal rest. So we might have been the only ones who got to experience it on our 5-night sailing. But we didn't get a great view. I think food also at the Pride Lands is not really our forte. It's a very much African cuisine, and I am not picky by any means, but I think it capped out where I let my limits go. So
there was nothing I would even try on that menu.
Which he's really picky. If this is your first time watching us on the Parks Peak, Ryan eats a very limited diet.
Yeah, I am very, very picky. But I got my filet mignon from 1923, so you can order from other restaurants as long as it's on the menu that night somewhere else. So that worked well. But yeah, I think the show I don't think started until 8:45, and we're usually ones that want to like eat and get done as quick as possible.
Especially since we value adult entertainment or nighttime entertainment on the ship, so we try to get it out of there as soon as possible. Seats fill up quick for adult entertainment, and that usually starts at 10 p.m. So if dinner is running a bit later, it kind of rushes things and it gets us anxious to get going.
That's personal preference on us, but just note that it usually won't start until 30 minutes into your actual
I'm assuming that's normal. We don't know.
That's
what we experienced. Or we got there at 8:15 and the show didn't start until 8:45, so it kind of delayed everything.
Yeah.
But our next main dining rotation was
1923,
which is Ryan's favorite.
Yeah, I think that's, of these new Wish class ships, I think that's the best restaurant. There's no show or anything with it. I think the decor is still really cool in there. There's the Roy and the Walt side. Yeah, I get my filet mignon there every time. That's, I think, by far my favorite food on the
I think it's a lot of
ships.
people's favorites, because when we were at dinner, we noticed like almost every table had the filet mignon, so it seems to be a fan favorite. But overall, the menu there is phenomenal. I usually get the burrata or the romaine wedge. Everything is really, really good there to start, and then the main course, of course, you got the filet mignon. I know they have some pasta dishes, and then the desserts are really good too. I think they have a hot fudge sundae is what Ryan usually goes for, and then I ended up going for this time too.
Going back to Pride Lands, they actually had some of the best dessert on both nights. The first one was like a zebra sundae, and then the second one we'll get into.
Yeah, after we go through Worlds of Marvel, our next rotation, and the only time we were at Worlds of Marvel, was our third night. And honestly, I really liked how they changed up the entertainment in Worlds of Marvel for the Disney Destiny. At least this time for us, it was just the trivia, which they had going on throughout the whole time we were at the main dining. And I really like that change.
Yeah, I like that better than the like show with Spider-Man and I think it's Ant-Man, right?
Yeah, and I think on the treasure, it's Groot and Rocket, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's what it was on this one.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was. Oh, it started and then it
starts with Rocket, and then Groot kind of takes over the trivia.
But it was mostly trivia the entire time, which we're big trivia buffs. We love going to trivia on the ships, so this was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, we know nothing about Marvel.
But it was fun. It was very
still fun.
interactive, and
Yeah.
it got us entertained through dinner, which was really fun. I do like the regular Marvel show that's on The Wish and I believe The Treasure. I think those are fun, but I actually really enjoyed this, and it's something different that I haven't experienced on Disney ships. Well, and then we went back to Pride Lands, which Ryan can get into, with the desserts that we loved at Pride Lands. Honestly, the second night at Pride Lands was so much better than the first.
Yeah, so because it was the second round through of the new menus, so we didn't have a Pirate Night menu, but we had like the second version of each restaurant's menu, so I couldn't get my filet mignon that night, so I just got the normal lighter note steak, the sirloin. That wasn't too great, but is what it is. But dessert was really good. I got the banana pudding one. I forget exactly what it was called, but that was really good. And then I got the
donuts.
Puff Puff donuts, I think they were called.
Basically sugar-coated donuts with a side of hazelnut chocolate.
Yeah, so I didn't use the hazelnut dip. I ended up dipping it in the banana pudding, which was really good.
And then I think...
Definitely recommend getting those.
What did my mom got? Oh, she got the chocolate pecan tart. My mom was also with us on the sailing, so we'll add in a few little things from her. But yeah, she got the chocolate pecan tart, and I think she said it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
And then we ended at 1923 on our last night.
Which we got really lucky. Our head server noticed that Ryan really, really, really loves the filet mignon. So, of course, Disney service, it's exquisite. And it's why we sailed Disney. He made some magic and got Ryan 2 pieces of filet mignon for our last night.
Yeah, even though it wasn't on the menu.
Wasn't on the menu. He made it happen. So, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was great.
So, of course, he got his filet mignon. I don't even remember. What else did we get that night?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think the dessert was... I think we got lava cake.
Lava cake, yeah. That was pretty good. And yeah, that was about it. That wraps up our main dining experience. I think, World of Marvel I really enjoyed. I think almost better on the Destiny. 1923 was basically the same as it is on the Wish, and it's one of our favorites. And of course, Pride Lands. I think, honestly, out of the Wish class ships, the one we haven't experienced might be our favorite of the shows, the Coco restaurant on the Treasure, but we haven't experienced that yet. Arendelle is not our favorite. Again, it's kind of the cuisine. It's not our favorite. And then, of course, Pride Lands, again, isn't our type of cuisine, so not our favorite. But I think Coco would be a hit because of the Mexican, and we love Coco. So
yeah, I think Pride Lands was a step up from Arendelle, especially the desserts. I thought the desserts were really good at Pride Lands. But yeah, overall, I think main dining is on Disney. You expect it to be awesome.
Yeah, and they, of course,
didn't fall short of that on the new ship.
Yeah, the most important part of food on the Disney ships for us is the grab-and-go food, especially on the pool deck. And one of the reasons we love the Wish-class ships is the pool deck food because of Mickey's Festival of Foods. They have such a variety. They have Donald's Cantina, which is basically Chipotle on Disney Cruise Line, except the guac is free and unlimited. And then we've got Daisy's Pizza, and then Mickey's Smokestack, which of course is the barbecue restaurant, Goofy's Grill, which is the, normal American food, chicken tenders, burgers, hot dogs, fries, and then Minnie's ice cream.
Yeah, I can kind of start. I think we ate here a ton.
We take advantage of the pool deck food on these Wish class ships.
Yeah, lines were never too long. Even I think the longest was like day 1 probably, and we didn't even eat there day 1. I don't think. No,
we ate at Marceline Market.
Right.
On day 1. We always go to the buffet on embarkation day on ships. It doesn't matter if it's on the older ships, the newer ships, whatever. We always go to the buffet, and that's really the only day we usually eat at the buffet, except on our Alaska series. We actually ate up at the buffet several times because it was a 7-night sailing, but on these shorter sailings, we only usually eat at the buffet on the first day. But
yeah, I think obviously the chicken tenders were good. I eat a ton of them. So Goofy's Grill was good. The pizza on this ship, I think, is one of the better ones compared to other ships. So I definitely think that was good. I think you ate at the Cantina a couple times.
I ate at the Cantina a lot. I love Chipotle, those types of places where you can kind of create your own, build your own Mexican food, Tex-Mex type thing. I got tacos a couple times. I got a burrito a couple times. I've had their bowls on the Wish before. they really aren't stingy with toppings. So you can load up those bowls, and it's great because, you know, back at home, Chipotle and those types of restaurants are typically very pricey to eat at. So it's fun that it's free and you can kind of be unlimited with it. And it feels a little bit like healthier, more variety than just eating like chicken tenders and park food all day. So I feel like that's like a great way to get some variety in there, especially when you're eating a lot of things that your body may not be used to on a normal basis.
I think you ate at the smokestack too, right?
Oh, I ate at the smokestack. I love the smokestack. Sometimes they have, you can request sweet potato fries. Those are really good. Ryan even indulges in the barbecue sauces that they have with the smokestack. He really loves those. But they have a good variety at the smokestack. They have brisket. They have pulled pork. They have burnt ends. I don't know what else they have. Mac and cheese. They have a lot of good stuff. If you have good quality barbecue, I think it's pretty good. I'm not a barbecue expert, but coming from the South and now I live in Pennsylvania, you don't have a lot of barbecue restaurants up here, so it's nice to get a little taste of it when I am on the cruise because I don't get it that often anymore.
I think just objectively, it looks like quality. For being on the pool deck, it's high quality.
It's definitely a step up from the older ships like the Fantasy, the Dream, the Wonder, the Magic, because you don't get it. I feel like those older ships, it's the basis, like of basically what you think of when you go to Disney World. If you've never been to Disney World and you don't know all the fun dining spots, but you think, oh, chicken tenders, you think normal theme park food. That's kind of, I feel like what you get more on the older ships, but it's nice that the Wish class ships have this variety that you can kind of branch out on.
And they've started to put the cantinas now on like
the Dream and
the Fantasy, which I think they're learning that's
popular. Yeah, which we haven't been on the Fantasy since they've added that in, so I'm excited to try that. Hopefully soon we'll be back on the Dream and the Fantasy. Actually, we haven't been on the Dream, but soon we'll be on the Dream and we can experience that because I think the variety is so nice to have.
Negative about the ice cream, I don't love that it's not self-serve. It kind of backs things up, and like I get why they do that for like the germs and stuff. But it's weird because then on the islands, it's self-serve. So
yeah, I think they're trying to cut down on the germs, but it does.
I think cut down on the germs and the wasted food.
It definitely slows it down. There's always a long line to get ice cream, or even all these other ones that aren't self-serve. I mean, like the Marceline Market, it's not self-serve like other buffets are on the older ships. So that slows down the process. There are always long lines for each station, which is kind of annoying. I can appreciate that they're trying to stop food waste and contain germs, but
yeah, I think
it's not great sometimes.
Overall, though, I think the food on the pool deck on the Wish class ships is the best of any ship.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a positive of these ships.
Food on the islands. On our sailing, we went to Castaway and Lighthouse Point. Those were the only two ports we stopped at, which honestly I loved. But that meant we got to experience food on both islands. Now, we've eaten at Castaway several different times. Food is always pretty decent. But this time on Castaway over in Serenity Bay, the adults only area, there was a new Hangar 98. And they have just opened this because they have opened the Mickey and Minnie Cabanas over at Serenity Bay, which means that they needed a new buffet space. Before, the buffet was kind of outdoors. But this is actually an indoor building, and it's actually really nice, and I think a great improvement.
Yeah, so it's kind of like up a ramp, and then it's built up there. The lines were probably longer than before, but I mean, it was definitely much nicer with it being inside. Obviously, the seating is still outside, so you get your food and then you go back down the ramp and sit in basically that same area that you would before. But I think they added a couple different food options. They had like French fries.
They added the French fries from the boat, or Disney Parks fries as I like to call them. They added mac and cheese. They added a spicy chicken sandwich. My only complaint is that they did not have ranch, because when I get my spicy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A, they have ranch, which I find kind of weird because they do have ranch at the Festival of Foods on the boat, but they don't have it on the island.
Yeah, that is odd.
It's the same with honey mustard. Honey mustard at the Festival of Foods, but not on the island. Very strange. But yeah, they added some food variety, which I like.
Yeah, I thought the food was good.
And I also didn't notice, if you know, at Serenity Bay, and maybe this is the same at the other barbecue or the buffet spots on Castaway, but we haven't really eaten at any other buffet spots on Castaway. There are a lot of birds swooping down, grabbing people's foods if they step away. We didn't really notice that as much this time.
Yeah, that was odd. I don't know if it was just different this time for some reason, or if it was just like we didn't see any that day. But yeah, I think every other time we've been to Castaway, we've noticed it.
Yeah, so it was weird not seeing it, and maybe this is another improvement of adding the Hangar 98. Now, going over to Lighthouse, this was our first time at Lighthouse Point. So this is really our first time experiencing the food there and the fly issue. I mean, when Lighthouse Point opened last summer 2024, there was a big issue with the flies or flies covering food, and this is not something we have gotten to experience yet. So we're interested to see if this is improved or if this is still an issue.
Yeah, there were definitely still flies. Definitely, I think it was on like the chicken. Some of the other stuff. We kind of stayed away from anything that the flies were on. I don't think it was as bad as the initial issue was. And you can tell they've been trying to do stuff. Like there's fans in there near the food. Like I just don't know if there's a solution.
I think it might just be where the island is located.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to keep addressing it. But I really don't think there's going to be a full fix anytime soon, unless they fully make it inside, which I can't imagine them doing.
So improve, but not perfect. Food variety, it felt very similar to Castaways. I mean, it's all I've really got for Lighthouse. And I think the main thing that people are wondering, like we were wondering, was the fly situation. But otherwise, food seemed pretty similar to Castaway.
Yeah, I think the overall food experience at Castaway was better, but I think that was just because they don't have flies. Overall, I think the food on these Witch class ships, especially the Destiny, is really good. I think that's probably one of the strong positives of these ships.
Now let's talk about the activities on board. What we did while we were on board, what filled our days when we were not on the islands or in the pools or eating like we normally do. My main complaint for the Destiny is that I don't think they utilize the right spaces for activities / they did not make big enough spaces thinking about these activities and the demand of these activities. A lot of trivias and crafts were held in Triton Lounge, which if you've been on the Wish class ships, you know that's not that big of a space. And when you have activities like Disney Channel Trivia or these 2000s music trivia or any of these music trivias or very popular trivias and you're holding it in Triton Lounge, there's not going to be a ton of space for the people that want to be there, and there's going to be overflow. And I just don't think the Destiny has space to I don't even know what the right word is, but it's just it's tight.
Yeah, so I think
despite it being a bigger ship, it's tight.
I think on these newer ships, they go all out on the theming. Like you have the cool bars, the cool themed areas, like the Haunted Mansion bar. You have the
Sanctum
Lounge. I know on the other ships you have like the Skipper Canteen. Is that what it's called?
You have Cask and Cannon.
Something like that. But I think what they don't think about is the capacity of each space. So if you think about, I'm just going to use some of the other ships, you have the whole after-hour space for like the adult entertainment
or even
areas.
like the fantasy, you have if you know when you go into the adult area space, I can't think of the name, they have that big carousel in the first room. That's a big space when you're holding trivias. We've done trivia in there several times, and it holds a large capacity of people.
Yeah, so like you have that massive space that at night they use for adult entertainment, and they're like bars at night. On these ships, it's not really utilized like that. So like some of the other ships, you have like the O'Gill's pub and like those pub type ones, which are massive spaces. This ship, you have Cask and Cannon still, which is smaller than those like O'Gill's ones. But the difference is like O'Gill's would always be utilized for like some trivias. Like when we were on the Wonder, every single night the music trivia that happened between dinners where it was packed
Was in the pub.
was
space
always
there.
in the pub space, which it was still packed, but
There was more space.
there was
for the
more space
capacity.
overall in there. On this ship, it was in Triton, which was at least only half capacity of what those pubs were.
So we noticed that if you did not get there extremely early for a lot of trivias, whether it be 2000s music trivia, parks trivia, any of those spaces, you were going to be outside of Triton Lounge. You were not going to get a seat in there. So there were people, lots of people actually, hanging out outside the door trying to listen in, participate in the trivia, even though there's no space for them.
Yeah, and then like on the Destiny of Cask and Cannon, which I think there was only like the entire 5-day sailing, there was 2 trivias in there, I think total.
But it's also because Cask and Cannon wasn't open a ton, which I found interesting. I don't know if it was specific to our sailing or if Cask and Cannon as a whole. I think they hold a lot of drink tastings there, but I overheard a lady at one of the craft activities we were at asking a cast member what time Cask and Cannon opened. And this was, I think, a sea day or something, some sort of day where I would expect Cask and Cannon to be open for a longer period. It didn't open till 5 and closed at 10.
Yeah, it was, the hours of it was very odd. Like, I don't think they utilized that space much. And that's even different than from the Wish. Like, we've done the Wish twice, and we had plenty of trivias in there. Like, there was sports trivia in there, I think, like, all 3 days of our Wish sailing.
Mm-hmm. And then the sports trivia was held in Triton.
Right, it wasn't even in Cask and Cannon, which, again, I thought that was odd. I just don't think they utilized that space
I think
enough.
they built a lot of small themed rooms instead of creating bigger spaces with a more, I don't know, multiple themes or whatever. They focused on creating small rooms to pack in as many themes as they can, instead of creating open spaces that can be utilized for activities.
Yeah, I'd also say Triton kind of seemingly has taken the place of the D Lounge on the Wish class ships, and I think that's a major part of the challenge, because Triton is probably only a third of the size of what the D Lounge is on the other ships. Even on like the older, like on the Wonder, like the D Lounge was a big space that they had a lot of like not even like a bunch of trivias, but even like game shows and stuff. They tried to fit all those pretty much in Triton, which kind of cuts down on the capacity, which is odd because you would think it should be a bigger space with being a bigger ship, but in reality, it's a smaller space with more people. So I think it's kind of backwards there compared to these other ships. That was one thing that I think we continually saw, even on days where there were people not on the ship because they were on the island, just spaces being overcrowded.
Yeah. But overall, I think the activities were pretty great on this sailing. I specifically think that the character experiences were top-notch on the Destiny. They really went into the heroes and villains theme on board the Destiny, especially with the character experiences, which we do not normally participate in character experiences because they're just normal character meet and greets, and that's not really a priority for us, meeting the characters, but they made the character experiences into activities and shows and things that even we would be interested in and catered to even just adults. I specifically mentioned Dr. Facilier's Parlor. That was something that I think blew any character experience at the parks or on cruises out of the water. It was incredible.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. They only let like 12 people in at a time.
Which, to specify, there is a long line of people that line up for this experience. It's 12 people into the room at a time, but they continuously let different groups of 12 people in until the experience is over. So if you're not the first 12 people in line, you still are able to experience this as long as you make it in with a group by the time the experience is over.
Yeah, I think we were the third group of 12 to get in. And I would definitely recommend getting in line early because they don't offer it
early.
They offer it like maybe once or twice a day max. Even we did it the last day, which was a sea day, and they only offered it once, and it was in the morning. So just I really recommend doing it. So just make sure you plan to line up early. But I think that was awesome. And then similarly, the Cruella DeVille Troublemaking.
Now, this is adults only. I didn't know that really until we were sailing, that it's 18 plus only. This is held in DeVille's bar, lounge, whatever it's actually called. Piano bar? No, I think it's DeVille's Piano Bar. It's basically a song-making experience. You get Zai and Gamble are hosting it. They are basically the storytellers that are along for a lot of the activities on the ship, on the Destiny. Another bonus of the Destiny I like that they're designated storytellers that kind of take you to each activity. Not take you to each activity, but follow you along on your journey aboard the Disney Destiny. But they host Cruella's Troublemaking, which they make it really fun and funny, comedic, and they kind of help you rewrite Cruella DeVille, the song, to make it more appealing for Cruella because she doesn't actually like the song. So that was a really, really, really fun experience. I'm glad that we made time to do that. We almost didn't do it, but I am glad that we did that. We got there early enough that we could be one of the people by the piano, which if you really want to interact with Zai and Gamble and Cruella, I recommend getting there early and getting a seat by the piano, because if you're farther back in the bar, I think that hinders probably your experience.
Yeah, I think we picked the perfect time to do it. Ours was on the last night at 9:45, so it was like we got out of dinner. The show Hercules was just ending, so people that had the early dinner and hadn't seen Hercules yet, they were not able to get to this one. And then we were out of dinner relatively early, so we were able to get a good seat there. Otherwise, any other time that it was going on, the line, even like an hour before, was like people lined up.
Yeah.
And by the time it opened for this experience, the line went all the way, probably close to like the theater entrance. So It was a long line. So again, I think we just got lucky in when we decided to do it. But just another, no, I mean, it goes back to the spaces being too small.
That is another really small space. By the time the show was about to start in DeVille's, there were people like trying to squeeze their way in, but there just wasn't any space for them.
Like, it's cool because then it makes it more of like an intimate experience, but it is a downside that you have such a crowded ship with not large enough spaces to kind of fill those people or like take on those people.
Another villain experience was actually with Cruella DeVille too, which is something that I really liked also, was the Cruella DeVille fashion show. You could participate if you dressed up in a certain category. I think the categories, I assume these are the categories for all Destiny sailings, but the categories for our sailing was heroes, villains, and then Cruella specific. And Cruella kind of comes in and judges the pieces that you wear, and you get to have a picture with her. And it's, again, very crowded, but it's held in a space that can withhold the crowds or sustain the crowds, or whatever the word is. All 5 decks are filled. It's really fun. It's really interactive, especially for participating in the fashion show. And I really love that. I think the Destiny focused on character experiences, and I think they blew them out of the water, whether it's with Cruella DeVille in the Troublemaking, or the fashion show, or Dr. Fazilier's parlor. Another one we didn't get to experience was the Maleficent meet and greet, but we passed it a couple times. And
yeah,
fantastic once again the way they hold these meet and greets and that are not normally in the parks, and I just think they're incredible.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to talk about this here, but I think the Gamble and the Zai and Gamble stuff.
They had multiple. The main thing for adults is, I think, with Zai and Gamble, besides the Troublemaking, is the Marvel comedy show. But they also follow you along to other storytelling experiences. I think they did one for Princess and the Frog that they held in the Grand Hall. They did one for Sleeping Beauty. I think there are a couple other ones. We didn't make it to those, but after we saw the Marvel comedy show on, what was it, Lighthouse Day? Or was that Castaway?
I think that was
Castaway.
Day.
I kind of wish we had made more time to go to these Zai and Gamble shows, because, again, another not well-known character experience, but a character experience is interacting with Zai and Gamble, and they're really, really funny and really interactive, and I think they really add to the character experiences that are happening on the Disney Destiny. Now, segueing from Zai and Gamble, we want to talk about adult-only experiences and adult-only areas. I specifically am segueing into this because of the Marvel comedy show. This is an adult-only experience that starts with Elixir Hall, which you have Violet Fox. Yeah, she sings before they come out, and they do this whole big Marvel comedy show that is hosted by Zai and Gamble And we don't have a lot of Marvel knowledge. I've only seen a few Marvel films by my dad, who is a Marvel buff. Not by my dad, but my dad has shown me the Marvel films because he's a Marvel buff, and I don't think Ryan has seen anything. Yeah, so we don't have a ton of Marvel knowledge, but this Marvel comedy show is for everyone. Adults only. But for everyone, even if you don't have a ton of Marvel knowledge, it was really funny. It was really fun. I think Josiah and Gamble make everything fun and funny. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that. I wish I had gotten more footage of that. They have 2 showings on the day that they do them. It seems like we went to the 7:45 showing. 7:45, right?
Yeah.
7:45 showing before 8:15 dinner. And they also have one at, I think, 10:30
that during night, like the normal adult entertainment
time. So yeah, that was really great. All the adult-only experiences are phenomenal across all ships. They usually have crazy karaoke, which we highly recommend you go watch, even if you're not big into karaoke, because it's usually just an experience being on the cruise.
We've never done the karaoke, like actually sang, but it is so entertaining. You never know what you're going to get. It could be really, really... We've had some times where it's incredible singers, and then we've had others where it's just like
crazy people who are obviously
they're definitely
drunk.
putting the crazy into crazy karaoke.
So it's really fun to experience and watch. And then of course they have Heard That, they have Majority Minds, they have all these fun Match Your Mate. That's a really popular one. Recommend getting there very early if you want good seats. But yeah, those are experiences. If you're an adult, and especially if you're doing an adult only sailing, spend time going to those events because they are so fun to be a part of. But moving on to the adult only areas / bars, I think this is important to talk about because we are sailing as only adults. We do not have any children, so we put emphasis on these adult areas and our experience in them. So what did you think?
I think comparatively to like the fantasy and the wonder, the adult areas are definitely smaller on these ships. So like on the other ships, the adult only pool areas are much larger. On this one, it's pretty much a hot tub and a infinity pool, which is very small. So not great. I think we like the infinity pool. We didn't have a chance to go in the hot tub because with there only being one in the adult area, it's packed the whole time. But I think they definitely did not make that area large enough this time on the Wish class ships with the Destiny included. Yeah, I wish that was larger. I think even like nighttime entertainment, usually on the other ships you have like the Tube and Azure and that whole area, like the after hours area that's reserved pretty much just for adults after 9 or 10 p.m., whatever that is. Mm-hmm. I wish they had that on these ships. Instead, they just use Saga.
Which is kind of in the main part of
the
ship.
Right, so it's like much... It doesn't feel as separated because... So like, on those other ships, there's no reason for any kids to be in those areas after 10 p.m. On this ship, it's right next to the movie theater. So... occasionally there's a kid that'll like run in, and then they have to stop the show, and they're like, "Oh, kid alert!"
But you don't really. We've never experienced that on the older ships where there is a kid passing by because at that point of the day there really is no reason for a kid to be in there. But on the Wish class ships, it's more prevalent because you have the movie theaters that are playing movies late into the night.
Yeah, I definitely think like the Wish and the Destiny are not as geared towards adults as, say, the older ships. Not to say we didn't have a good time on this ship. Like, there were definitely experiences, like, a lot of those adult-only character experiences and even the bar, like, Haunted Mansion Parlor we haven't talked about yet, but, like, those areas are awesome on these ships.
And I think they make the ship what it is for us.
Right. Like, one of the major things of these other ships is the adult-only areas, and I think the Destiny and even the Wish kind of lack in that area.
Yeah. Speaking of what makes the adult only areas shine on these ships, the bars. And now, while these aren't really adult only, especially at certain times, the Haunted Mansion Parlor, the Sanctum, any other bars that I'm missing? Cask and Cannon. Kids are allowed in these, but I think of them as more adult only experiences because you typically get alcohol. But yeah, they're not, but to us, I guess they are. The Haunted Mansion Parlor, as theme park goers and people who live and breathe Walt Disney World and the Disney theme parks, this was amazing, and I think it was worth coming on the Destiny for this. Yeah,
I'm glad we were able to experience that. Right now they only have it on the Destiny and the Treasure.
Yeah.
I think on the Wish they have the Star Wars bar.
We are not as big into actually, I love Star Wars. Brian refuses to watch them, so they're fun for me, but not so much for him. But this is like something that we both love and care about, so it was really fun to experience.
I think it was really cool themed. I think even better than some of the, like they just opened the Pirates Bar,
Beacon Barrel
in Magic Kingdom, and we've experienced that, and I think this was even better than that. It's very unique, so definitely highly recommend.
And it's very true to the Haunted Mansion.
We didn't even, it's primarily adults in there, but we didn't even get alcohol drinks in there.
No, as I'm saying that, what makes it adult only for us is that it's alcohol. We didn't end up even getting alcoholic beverages, but they had really unique drinks, and
yeah, they had plenty of non-alcoholic options in there.
Yeah, so if you want to see our Haunted Mansion Parlor experience, that is on our Day at Sea vlog, our second vlog of our Disney Destiny series. But let's just say I loved the theming. I loved how it felt like you were in a Disney park on a Disney ship, and it combined my two loves. But then the Sanctum, I also really liked the Sanctum.
Yeah, I like that more on the ship than the Bayou when we were on the Wish. I feel like the Bayou might have just been how I remember it. I don't think it had as much seating as the Sanctum.
I don't think it did either.
Because I don't think every time we tried to go to a trivia in the Bayou when we were on the Wish, we weren't able to get a seat in there. This time we did tons of trivias in the Sanctum, and I think every single time we had a seat.
Yeah, it was never really an issue. And again, we're not big Marvel people, but I really loved how dark and moody it was. It was really... I love that. And I actually tried one of their non-alcoholic drinks. There was Eye of Agamotto, I think. And that was really good. Honestly, I like that even better than the drinks we got in the Haunted Mansion bar. And they've got some cool drinks there. They've got like a floating beverage. They've got other cool technology with the drinks. And spend some time in there.
Yeah, I think the bars are awesome on these ships. They're very high.
Or even DeVille's. We didn't spend a lot of time there, but that was a really cool theming, and they have some cool drinks there too.
Yeah. So, if you're looking for the cool themed bar experiences like this, these ships are definitely, I'd say, better than the older ones. More heavily themed.
I think theming alone is what makes the Wish class ship shine. Yeah. Whether it's the Wish, which is more, I feel like, fairy tale themed, princess themed, the Treasure, which is very adventure themed, Jungle Cruise. Whatever else, and then the Destiny Heroes and Villains, they really focus on the theming on these ships, and theming wise, Destiny blows it out of the water. Let's talk about our overall on the Destiny. What did we think? The decor, the vibe. Would we sail again?
I think that these ships are you can tell it's a new ship. Even when we did the Wish, it just feels more elegant, more not high quality, but newer.
I think about that even when the comparison I think about is Universal versus Epic Universe. Obviously the same company, but when you go into the Universal parks and then you go into Epic Universe, you can tell how much newer Epic Universe is comparatively to Islands or Universal. And that's how it feels going from the Fantasy to the Wish. You can tell that these feel newer. And
yeah, I think they feel newer. I think overall we had a good experience. Definitely the crowded areas take away from some of the activities. But with more people, you kind of expect it to be more crowded. But I definitely think they could have made the spaces a little bit bigger, that they were going to do the bigger trivias and stuff in. But do I think I'd sail again? Possibly. I think eventually we might be on the Destiny again.
I think we'll be on the Destiny again.
Yeah.
Now, how soon will we be on the Destiny
Right.
again? I don't think it's important to us.
I
to be anytime
think
soon.
we definitely prefer the older ships. Even like I think right now, out of the ones we've done, I think the Fantasy is our favorite. We haven't done the Dream, but I think it would probably be up there with the Fantasy. Then we've done the Wonder. I think we like the one not as much as the Fantasy, but I think we did like the Wonder probably better than the Destiny, even with it being an older ship.
I do wonder how that would be outside of Alaska, because I do wonder if being in Alaska made the Wonder better
Right.
than it was. But I still think that we prefer the older class ships in that sense.
Yeah, I think the adult areas on those ships are just so much nicer. But still, I think the Destiny. I like the Destiny better than the Wish. I think
Definitely.
that's probably with the theming mostly. Between the fact that on the Wish, I don't think we ever went into the piano bar. We didn't spend much. We peeked into the Star Wars lounge on that one, but
We didn't really spend
didn't
time
do anything
in
in
there.
there.
I think the theming of the Destiny is catered more to what our interests are, despite it being somewhat Marvel themed. I think that we enjoy the villains' experiences, we enjoy the Haunted Mansion bar, we enjoy the theming better on this ship. So it does top the Wish for us, but I think as we go on more of the older ships like the Magic, we're thinking about doing the Dream, we're planning on doing soon. I think it's just going to fall below those ships. But that's just because of what we put importance on. We care about the adult entertainment. We care about how big the spaces are for those events. And I feel like cast member experiences are better on the ships. Not saying that on the Wish class ships the cast members aren't phenomenal, because everywhere on the Disney ships the cast members are phenomenal. But I feel like maybe it's because they're smaller ships. You have more one-on-one experiences with, especially the activities cast members. You really get to know them. You really get to have more personal experiences with them. And I think that's also another reason why we like the older ships.
Yeah.
Because we put importance on that.
Yeah, because when we were on the Wish, it was a different host for
Adult
entertainment every night, which was odd. Especially now seeing all these other ships where it's like a consistent person on every night. They changed that on the Destiny where now it's
one person.
One
It was
person.
Darrell the entire time.
and he was great.
Fantastic.
So I think that's a positive change. But again, just not as much
one-on-one
interaction.
Which I feel like we got more, especially on the Fantasy. I've been on the Fantasy the most. I had on my second sailing, I talked a lot with Declan, who was the adult entertainment host. And then when we went on the Fantasy last year with Ryan, Soraya, and Izzy, we had a lot of interaction with them, which was great. And I feel like even on the Wonder, we had Nate and Dee. We had a lot of interaction with them as well. And I think it's just maybe there's a smaller group, more time to interact. And yeah.
Overall, I think it was nice to be able to get on the ship shortly after it opened.
It was nice to experience. I'm glad we went on the Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm glad we experienced it. I think we would be having FOMO if we did not experience it. And I think overall it was a positive experience. I think there are certain aspects, like we said, that we prefer on other ships that we're going to put a higher priority on sailing on those before we sail on the Destiny again. But would we recommend the Destiny?
Yeah, I think the Destiny was good. I think it's definitely better than the Wish. So if you're deciding between those two, I know the Treasure is like significantly more expensive than the Wish and the Destiny. I definitely think the Destiny's better than the Wish, but
I also think it's better for families. So if
Yeah.
you are not like us, where we're two adults, no kids, I think if you are picking a ship to go on with little kids, especially I think the kids area on these ships are phenomenal. I think maybe put priority on going on either the Wish or our favorite of the two, the Destiny, to spend time with your family.
Yeah, I think these ships are definitely geared towards kids. I think they're really nice. Just definitely less focus on the adults, which for some people that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just for us, we prefer when the adult areas are a little more expansive.
Yeah, but overall, that is our review of the Disney Destiny. If this is your first time watching us at the Parks Peak, we have 2 other vlog series of Disney cruises that we have been on. We have Alaska back from this May 2025, that you should check out, especially if you think you're going to Alaska anytime soon. And then, of course, we have our Disney Destiny vlog series, which you can find here on my channel. So we hope you enjoyed our review. We hope this was helpful. And yeah, let us know where we should go next, what you want to see us review next, and give us ideas on what to book next, because we did book a placeholder and we're still deciding on what we want to book.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Until next time, that's all we got.
Peace.